Greetings and welcome back to room 303 in our chats with Emily, as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are in the Johnson edition. We turned out a poem 438, Forgot, the Lady with the Amulet. Now, notice Forgot has that exclamation point on it, and immediately we're back to poems 203 and 433. You could make the argument that in many ways Emily is a poet that is constantly trying to come to terms with whether one can forget or one should forget. Many have seen this as another Sue poem, as we have commented on other ones. Some have called this a very difficult poem to try to completely comprehend what Emily is saying. I think it is a poem about relationships. For sure, it is a poem about a close relationship and fidelity, we will see at the end of this poem. Our assumptions are that you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net, down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily, our playlist. I'm hoping that you worked through our set of introductory comments where we mentioned the importance of Sue in Emily's life. And then as well, I'm hopeful that you've read the preceding 437 poems, and that will allow you to place within context this one. Now, in this poem, Sue is perceived as the lady and the bee, and Emily as the rose. We've seen this imagery already in a number of poems, haven't we? Forget, the lady with the amulet, forget she wore it at her heart because she breathed against 'twas treason twixt. Deny, did rose her bee for privilege of play, or wile of butterfly, or opportunity her lured away? The lady with the amulet will fade, the bee in mausoleum laid, discard his bride, but longer than the little rill that cooled the forehead of the hill, while other went the sea to fill, and other went to turn the mill. I'll do thy will. Now, it is true, so many of Emily's poems are designed to be enjoyed and read aloud, and certainly this is one of those poems as well. Notice again the first word, forget, exclamation point. The first stanza will be an argument that whoever the lady with the amulet is, and it was given, most likely we will entertain by Emily, and therefore probably we're talking Sue. So the point here is that Sue cannot forget, right? Because she wore on her breast Emily's gift, the amulet, right? And there has been no betrayal, right? Treason by Emily. Therefore, fidelity is intact. But then there's the second stanza. Deny, notice the structure with the exclamation point. Did rose her bee for privilege of play, or wile of butterfly, or opportunity her lured away? Notice that in both of these first two stanzas, the expected answer is obviously no. Takes us back to poem 213. You'll remember, did the harebell lose her girdle? And the obvious answer is supposed to be no, right? In other words, Emily, or the rose, never denied Sue, the bee. In other words, the relationship has been symbiotic, has been accepting, has been, again, faithful, if you will. And now to the third and final observation here. The lady with the amulet will fade. Obviously, the observation that Sue will die, or possibly Sue's love or fidelity for Emily will die, right? Notice the bee in mausoleum laid, discard his bride, but longer than the little rill, again, little, she loves this word, 172 poems, that cooled the forehead of the hill, the rivers in other words, while other went to sea to fill, and other went to turn the mill, the rivers run. In other words, time, like the river of time, this is Heraclitus again, obviously, it moves, it flows, and there's nothing that can be done. But Emily has said all of this to finish, I'll do thy will. Now, I think Emily is in some ways being a little bit potentially sacrilegious here, maybe channeling the Lord's Prayer of Luke 11, 2 through 4, thy will be done. Notice she says, I will do thy will. Notice will here, capitalized. All right, what is Emily really saying in this poem at 2a? I think her argument is that true pals never will part. They'll always be faithful to each other. At 2b, well, obviously it is uncertain here. Who is she referencing, this lady with the amulet? If it's not Sue, then who is it? At 3a, well, obviously all the Sue poems, 434, 452, 14, 535, 458, 518, 355, and so many other poems that we've called Sue poems. You can obviously set them side by side, and it's a lot of fun to do that. Finally, at 3B, to own a poem like this, do you have a pal in your life that you share this kind of fidelity with? Thank you.